Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Behind the CEO. So today we're in Paris, and we are welcoming Chaker Khazaal. Chaker, you are, I don't know how to describe you. An entrepreneur, an author,
a man with many hats.
A man with many hats, like infinite hats. So you were born in a refugee camp, and you later received an award, the Global Leader of Tomorrow Award, and you became a Canadian citizen. I think that, your journey is so inspiring for many. So my first question for you is, looking back, what do you think that made it possible for you to, embark on this journey?
Well, first, Yasmina, thank you for having me on your show. I know it's your first taping, so good luck. Break a leg. So what made it possible, I think, is actually the support you get from people around. Because if it wasn't for the support of many Canadian volunteers in the camp in Beirut back in the 1990s, I wouldn't have known about a lot of opportunities and a lot of possibilities that I could get out of the camp and go to Canada. So I think support and solidarity are very important in the life of a refugee, and I have experienced it firsthand, and it still remains till today one of the most important engines to move forward this vulnerable community.
Mm-hmm. And I think that, solidarity, as you say, was really the guiding, principle that shaped a lot of the initiatives and books that you wrote. The refugee camp, what's the name?
Bourj el Barajneh.
Bourj el Barajneh.
Yeah.
Because my Arabic is very weak. قليلا.
You teach me French today, I'll teach you Arabic.
Or
That's
Italian,
your podcast. For
deal.
Deal.
So, Bourj el Barajneh.
Yep, you said it right.
What is a memory that you have from this refugee camp that you keep, with you still today? A specific memory or a moment or a situation that you witnessed?
A lot of good memories. So, when you think of your childhood, wherever it is, you think of a lot of good and bad memories. This is the definition of memories. A lot of things I keep with me is the family time. This is a time before, social media, and before all that. I am that old, kind of.
Yeah, we were like boomers. I also feel old for TikTok generation, where I'm trying to keep up, But I feel you.
So yeah, a lot of that family, I think, knit and community and people. That's what the kind of memories you carry on.
And you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have 3 brothers. So
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really the sense of community.
My grandfather, their stories, and the 90s is a time when Lebanon was coming out of civil war, and this was a lot of stories were around. People share experiences. They were survivors of a war. They were in displacement. So that it's like an ongoing force of storytelling of a community trying to survive as well, being in displacement. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I know that through your novels you convey a message of humanity. I know that a lot of people that I met that have a background as refugees try to rebuild their life. I also have some colleagues at work. I work in tech, but yeah, we have some colleagues, they come from war zones, and they tell me I don't want to talk about it. With me they do, but maybe not with other colleagues, because they don't want to be seen as victims or pity. Through your storytellings, and you convey some stories and personal experiences using fiction. How do you think that fiction can be more effective to convey those messages than, for example, journalism?
Well, I've always believed that fiction doesn't exist actually without the backup of reality, because as an author, when you start writing, you get inspired by events happening around you, and somewhere in your subconscious it will feed your imagination, so you're writing the fiction you're writing. I have never experienced the pure fiction in writing, and maybe it does exist for other people, but for me, I don't think I've ever written a character that wasn't inspired or I hadn't met them somewhere in life or through my travels or work. Or so I don't believe in full-on fiction, and that's my experience with literature.
So let's dig into more in details. For example, there is a lot of experiences that inspired you. I know that you also covered refugee routes across Europe firsthand, and people like me, it was 10 years ago, for example, in 2014, 15, when people were coming and crossing Eastern Europe, walking. Among them, we can remember Sarah Mardini, who was with her sister also part of this journey, the swimmers that we can see on Netflix. But beyond these, Sarah has, also been part of the previous series of our podcast and shared what does it mean to arrive to Europe. I know that these stories, you really went all across Europe with these refugees, and you made the journey with them to inspire your novels. So when we read the news, we see images, we follow tweets or posts, but few of us really know what does it mean to go through this journey. So I wanted to ask you something that you saw and learned from this experience, but also if you have a particular moment that you want to recall with us.
So I did the refugee coverage in 2015 from Slovenia, and there were a lot of trains passing, and some were being processed. Some had to leave to get medical care from the tents that were set up on that border. And I think I'm not going to take a singular incident. I think that just seeing people heading to the unknown, because they didn't know in which station they're going to stop, or where are they going to get welcome, where are they going to get processed. They had already been through hell. I mean, fleeing, Syria or other war zones. They've already crossed illegally the Mediterranean to get to Greece in very dangerous, circumstances. So they've already been through hell. Like I was seeing humans who have already suffered not only the circumstances that led to them being refugees, but also half of that journey, because after they were headed to a country to settle. Yeah. Overall, I think, heading to the unknown, especially with it's in my DNA. Like my ancestors had to flee to Lebanon. So seeing that at first hand and having that personal connection because I was born a refugee. I did not flee from one country to another. It was my grandparents who had to flee. Yeah. So seeing it at first hand really is a very emotional kind of experience. And this is when me and kind of journalism took a different angle, because I didn't see these people as a subject for an article. Because I didn't want to turn them into statistics and numbers, and that journalism is very important. It tells the stories of people. I just couldn't do it when it came to that community. I couldn't give it and that's why I decided to write books about it, because it was more room for me to humanize each character that I may have encountered during that coverage.
This is a topic that I think in Europe years have passed, decades, and not much has changed. And I can mention Chaker Khazaal. Last year he did a nice event commemorating the people died in Lampedusa. So this person has an NGO and works with migrants and refugees, and he inspired a movie called Io Capitano. So Io Capitano from Matteo Garrone was awarded in several festivals last year. I think it was also shortlisted to Oscars. Anyway, it was very successful. It was a story of inspired by Tareke and other refugees that came to Italy. And so it was the journey of, coming from Africa to Italy. And there is also someone else that I want to mention is Usman Umar. I really encourage our audience to check him out. He wrote a book in Spanish, but it's also available in English. It's called Viaje al País de los Blancos, so traveling on the country of white people. And he is also an entrepreneur who narrated his journey across Africa to arrive to Europe. And today he's working on digitalizing Africa through a foundation, so from Barcelona, but really regularly going to Ghana, where he's from, and give it back to his country. So I know that you have not the same approach, but a similar approach on business, because you, from what I see, you use, business means or, a business approach to have a humanitarian impact and action. And I believe that concrete change needs to be backed by wealth and means. So can you tell me more about this approach?
I'm going to come back to this question. I want to go back actually to your point. There's been a lot of European efforts in absorbing a lot of refugees, and we need to give credit as well to how Europe stood with refugees during the worst crisis. It wasn't perfect. Nothing is going to be perfect in life. We know that. But I think that the fact, seeing a lot of communities across Europe, whether in Greece or Slovenia, on how they were helping as well newcomers and people who... I think we need to applaud them. And I think that, we can sit down and criticize every single country. To your point, I would shame a lot of narrative of hatred. I would shame as well unorganized migration as well, and how governments absorb refugees, because we saw a lot of illegal things happening during the crisis, from human trafficking to drug trafficking to organ etc. So those things I do shame. How can we do better if we are to make another generation of refugees in the future? Hopefully not, but from the way it's going, it's happening.
Like for me, especially as an Italian, Italy was left alone to deal with refugees and migrants. And what is done today with an agreement between Libya and Italy since it's just shameful, because it's just basically allowing smuggling, allowing trafficking, because the European Union as a union didn't manage to do something. At the end of the day, the European Union, what is it? It's a political, union. The states, 27 states, they don't come together and say, okay, this is a policy where we're going to allow X number of migrants. And by the way, Italy, we have a far-right prime minister now, but she just announced that I don't know how many hundreds, 200,000 of migrants are going to come next year. Why? Because in Italy, old people are quite old, so they need labor.
So back to your question
yeah.
Yeah, I do believe that entrepreneurship needs to be part of the charity landscape. Right now, we followed a model of aid for the last decades, where we come and throw money at a community to get medicine and get these things. And there is a shift, because we're going through now focus on sustainability and everything, but there's also investing on humans, not only on the crisis, which I think is so important and still missing in this algorithm of aid. I think if we train people how to become doctors and nurses and lawyers and coders and AI engineers, I think if we put a lot of efforts on that, and we put a lot of aid specific on things like to make better humans, we can empower communities and they can survive and kick off in life. But the more we just throw aid bags at a community and let them be dependent on aid, and limit their opportunities and limit their skills, the more this failed aid system is going to continue. And I just hope we have a big global shift in aid.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's my focus on entrepreneurship.
You remind me of my studies. I had one of my classes was post-colonial
well,
studies.
Apply them.
And it was all about, honestly, it was all about how, the NGOs and the system of humanitarian system is designed to keep people dependent from the donor. And by the way, we saw with USAID, from one day to another, shut down people without job, but also people without, funds. NGOs without funds, so many, people that we used to rely on those funds now, they need
I hope we get more startups, less NGOs, as we, Yeah.
I so
I
much
think
agree.
like startups, businesses, let's focus on that. Less NGOs. And this would like really move us because aid needs to be timely as well with where we are today. And yeah.
And also, there is, there is 2 points. One is, if you want to have an impact, but you rely on a state, an institution, and maybe, it can also shrink, the focus you can have or the freedom you can have to say some certain things or to not say certain things. But the second point is, I believe that we, as you say, startups, we can create sustainability, especially when you support a cause. The most important is to keep in mind why you do what you do and to not, shape or change your message or your core principles just because the donor is like, no, you need to change. I don't like this. Yeah, but I want you to do it like this,
Mm-hmm.
And the donors, by the way, are not always, people of color or coming from the same background or supporting the same issues that the people on the ground. So next question, Chaker, you recently moved to Paris. First of all, bienvenue.
Merci.
Ah bah alors tu parles français?
Un petit peu. Learning.
Alors on peut parler français. Bon, so basically you arrived, I don't know, 1 month?
A year ago. And between, yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I've been here for a while.
Because we know each other since a while, but I didn't know you were here. But you arrived a month ago, the government falls. Last year also government falls. Now we had a big protest against the government. Like it's a bit, a weird time to be in Paris. But it's still a country. I admire French people because they always speak up. When they're not happy, they speak up. Anyway, across Europe, you know that migration is the winning and losing topic of elections. It remains one of the most polarizing, points and topics. And in France, we have a colonial history, we have a long immigration history, and ongoing debates, like non-stop, on inclusion and diversity, on the banlieue, the French suburbs. And I think that, inclusion as per se is very far from being achieved in this country. So I wanted to ask you, how do you see these dynamics as someone that arrives in Paris and in France and in Europe, but is, someone that grew up as a refugee and now you're calling Europe your home?
Yes, Mina, a couple years ago, I decided to step aside a bit from the madness of the world. Like, honestly, the world is going through a lot. And I just needed, for personal reasons, for my well-being, for my mental health well-being, to just step aside and sadly be a witness to this chaos wherever it's happening, to whoever it's happening to. And a lot of like sad moments are right now happening in the world. When it comes specifically to Europe, I'd love to sit down and talk to you about dynamics of migrants and their stories and everything. But I came here to really like choose this corner as the corner where I observe the world and try to see like the best of it. So my experience has been meeting a lot of amazing French people and migrants and seeing them interact together, whether it's at, a local bar or, I don't know, maybe because I'm a guest here. Yeah. I really love this corner. Every corner in the world, you can sit down and try to find a million mistakes in it and try to criticize it in a million ways. And I'm sure it is. But I'm a guest here. I'm not, I spend time in France and Spain and other places. As a guest, I am looking at the things that I enjoy from these places. I'm not looking at dissecting, the society. Not today. I've done this before as a journalist. I will do this to my subject of my books, etc. But right now I'm in this corner of my life and in this corner of the world, trying to see the beautiful things around.
And there's so much to see in Paris.
Architecture, history, art, wine,
Right.
a lot of good things.
Food, restaurants,
people, humans.
And as a writer, you have in this city so many like French are authors that pass through here. And for me, the 6th arrondissement, so that area, Saint-Germain-des-Prés, you have 2 cafes, maybe you know them, Café Flore and Demago. Like my favorite like writers wrote their books there. So sometimes I like to go there and just admire and think, wow, Jean-Paul Sartre, Albert Camus, they used to sit in this same place and write books.
Yeah.
And of course, the times were much easier and better than now because it was like, maybe...
No, I'm in an amazing city, I spend a lot of time in Barcelona too.
Right.
Great city.
Amazing city.
I've been seeing a lot of European places. And again, I don't want to like paint just a rosy picture here. Like the world is going through a lot. I see the news headlines. I have friends in these zones. I am in touch with it. It breaks your heart, really. So maybe some good energy out there is needed, and that's what I've been seeking, especially, I'm still going through this well-being journey overall.
Absolutely. And I love that you mentioned this, especially as when we started behind the CEO, the idea is not just to talk about, wow, you achieved so much, you launched your company, you raised X amount of money. It's this type of talks. It's really about how do you do to make sure that your mental health, while you work on a cause or any subject that matters to you, that you don't get lost on the process. And there is different ways. Personally, I left France for a few years after personal story in France, but I wanted to take the time to find myself. And again, finding this balance, you can be committed to something that is important for you, to values, to business, but then how do you recharge? We will come back to that.
Yep.
I have a few questions around that, but I wanted to ask you, I know that you write a lot, and maybe personally I write, but I don't publish yet, but I write as a way to, it's a therapy. For me, it's like when I need to empty my mind, I write. Well, for you, it's like 6 books. First, I know it's Ouch.
No, Confessions of a War Child.
Right.
Then Tale of Tala, Ouch, and Arika's last.
Right. So all these books, which one was the most challenging personally to write, and why?
I think Ouch for sure, because Ouch is about my life. So, and I started writing. I wrote that book in 17 days only. Wow. And I didn't want intensive editing to it, although I had a great 2 editors, Alan Carter and Stella Andenoff. I literally did the book. I wrote it in 17 days following the Beirut port blast explosion. So from August 5th, and 17 days later, it went into editing and publishing within a month. My publisher, Hachette and Antoine, they were like doing it right on time, and I launched it alongside my participation at the Athens Democracy Forum in Athens, and all that in a couple months. So it was, the challenge there was first writing it, because you're putting your life for others to see, so you have to check as well. There's the privacy of your own life, the privacy of your family, of certain things. So there was a thin line to walk, and usually in writing, I don't like a lot of restrictions, but in here, out of respect for a lot of people mentioned and all the sensitivities, whether it's cultural, whether it's religious, whether it's your life, it has these dimensions. And I just had to abide by a lot, meanwhile keeping the integrity of the story and keeping the spirit of the story. With other books, I felt more free because I was writing about others. Yeah. But when we write about ourselves, I think there are all these things that come to mind.
And also the time, no? Like, how did you write it in 17 days?
Barely slept. Yeah. I was just writing.
You needed to write, right?
Yeah.
It was like out of a need.
I think everyone comes to a moment in life sometimes to experience this, where they just need to put things on a piece of paper. And it's very healing, and I recommend it to everyone going through any kind of hardship.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this. It's very, very inspiring, especially as you say, sometimes you want to censor yourself. You don't want to maybe it's tough to put it out there in the world, because one thing is put it down on a paper. By the way, one question, very curious to know, do you write in Arabic? In which one is your first language? Arabic?
Arabic is my first language, but
You write in
professionally English,
English.
because I'm better in spoken Arabic than in written Arabic.
Okay, so you write in English.
Yeah, they get translated, the books, to Arabic by a translator.
And French?
Maybe ask me in a year.
Yeah, because we have a French audience who are very curious
Yeah.
to read it also in French. But for now, it's available in in English.
English and Arabic,
Arabic.
for Harikas, yeah.
Amazing. We're going to put it on comments, on
Good,
description. Make sure that people can check them out. So you're known for mixing business and literature. And sometimes you're drafting chapters in airplanes. You're also, writing in 17 days now, I know. But you do speaking engagement across the world. I know you spoke at Meta, Google, and many other places, also government sometimes. You're also the executive chairman of OBCIDO. So how do you translate your storytelling and your writing experience, all these skills, into your business strategies and your brand overall?
Sorry, I had to.
No problem.
Well, OBCIDO is a digital marketing agency that I co-founded with Omar Andil 5 years ago. And today in digital marketing, or in marketing in general, I think every person, every brand, every company, every organization, they have a story to tell, and people relate to stories. So I think as a writer, you're writing this world of fiction, and you're writing or about your subject. And then in business as well, especially with, like, we create, websites and marketing strategies and consult on high-level projects. So with everything we do, every partner we have or client, or they have a story they want to tell. And I think this is where the two worlds kind of cross. If you have a marketing campaign today about a new brand, about the podcast, you need to tell the story of where this podcast came from, which is your story as well, and what inspired you. And this is what people relate to. They will not only relate to both of us chit-chatting for hours,
Absolutely. I work in sales, and we say, first we say people buy from people. And secondly, brand is everything. And also marketing, I think it's like the lung of a company. You can sell the best product in the market, the best. If you're not out there, you don't exist, clients are not going to buy. Mm-hmm. So I think it's very important, the work that you do. And do you your clients are mainly in Middle East, or also in international?
No, global. We work with people all around the world. It's a great team. And we are also global. We have people here in Paris, Beirut, New York, Melbourne, London, Saudi. Wow. Yeah.
Crazy.
A lot of places.
So you're really, you said before that maybe you're not Gen Z, but for work-wise, you're super digitalized. You can work across teams. And did you wait for COVID, or
we founded the company around COVID.
Around COVID, right. So we are the generation of COVID. We know that we can work from wherever we want, get the job done,
But it's also still good to sit down with people one-on-one, and I do believe in that. As even with our company, on-site visits, meeting in person the people you work with has a different kind of feeling.
Absolutely. And I think you get things done maybe quicker.
Yeah.
You have them just beside, sorry, can you check something? Okay. Then sending a Slack or a Teams message. But I know that you took over recently the Women's Humanitarian Organization after your mother's passing. May she rest in peace. So I'm sure that she would be proud of you. Thanks. And I wanted to ask you if you can, first of all, explain us more about this organization and the work that you do there.
So the Palestinian Women's Humanitarian Organization was founded in 1993 by my late mother, Dr. Ulfat Mahmoud, and an Australian, Helen McHugh. It empowers women in Palestinian refugee camps in Lebanon to get jobs, to work for their community, whether it's nurses, preschools, physiotherapy centers, health clinics. And it was founded by my mom and a group of women. And today it's run by some of these same exact women from 1993. It's a lot of services supported by a lot of government programs from Australia, Canada, European countries, etc. So yeah, and I like the spirit of this organization because it really, like growing up in the camp, I was around its founding. So all that, it's kind of part of my identity. And now I get to work with this great team of people. And one of my focuses since I became president of this organization is to bring in two things: the digitalization of in the camps. So we have recently done this training, AI, artificial intelligence training program with a Lebanon-based company, Talendu, where they came in and trained 20 people on AI and how do we use this for efficiency within the organization, within the aid structure, and also we were saying earlier, for startups, hopefully, to come out of the camps, not only lineups of people lining up for aid. So this is where I hope PIHU becomes central in enabling the young generation, and especially the female participation, because I think that we do have a gap in female participation in AI and in tech, and we do need these tools available so that we can see what kind of projects, what kind of businesses they do, and bring back support to their camps and to their communities.
Absolutely, and especially, we talk about women empowerment, right? Women have a power, they don't need to be empowered, but how do we give them the right skills, such as AI, which is, they say, my executives in our company, they keep saying, AI will not replace people, but salespeople or people using AI, they will replace those who don't. And so how do we get into this wave when, first of all, we're women? And by the way, I spend my time working only with men. Maybe there is 2 women in my team out of, I don't know how many, one. And secondly, the layer is when you live in a refugee camp and maybe you're not given the same opportunities as someone that, can afford the best universities. So bringing in businesses like this company, as you say, that is coming and training these women, I think it's amazing. And I hope that we will see more startups coming out of this initiative.
Thank you.
So for the last part of our episode, behind the CEO, behind Chaker, we want to know behind the scenes, what do you do for fun, and some, fun facts about you. Fun and less fun. Let's see.
Great, let's go.
So what do you do for fun? First question.
I love bars. I love good bars. I love to play chess, and I love to nap.
Okay, which bars do you like in Paris? Maybe don't tell everything so people don't follow you.
Yeah, I know a variety of bars. I have my couple local bars on my street, so I really enjoy those. And then I could, give me good wine and I'm there.
Right. Okay. The next one is you write a lot. So besides your book, do you have one book that you think that every young person or, less young, any person should read?
I like a lot The Alchemist for young people. I think every young person should read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Yeah.
Nice one. So your favorite place to write in Paris?
I don't have like a specific place to write. I like writing from my place a lot. Okay. If I'm writing, sometimes I'll just go to a cafe in the neighborhood and write from there. But yeah, I like home to write from.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you, Paris Cafe or New York rooftop?
Paris Cafe. Sorry, New York.
Okay. Paris Cafe or Wadi Rum?
Wadi Rum or Paris Cafe.
Paris Cafe.
I love Wadi Rum though, and I lived in Jordan for a bit. I love Jordan, but right now I'm in this mindset. Paris Cafe is where I'm finding happiness.
Okay, nice. I'm very happy for you. So
you got me in trouble now with my New York friends and my Jordanian friends.
Right.
Thanks.
I left my heart in Wadi Rum. I celebrate my birthday
I
there
love Wadi Rum a lot.
years ago. Yeah. It's nice. So long novel or short story?
For me to write or for me to read?
Right.
Write short stories. I like short stories. I haven't done that, but I think short story I would enjoy.
Okay. Last minute trip or a planned travel?
Oh, it's always last minute with me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like
planned travel
Like I
doesn't
went
work
to
for me.
China where people were like, "Wow, so nice! First time going." I didn't know I was going 3 days before.
Yeah.
Like, right. Okay. So, cappuccino or mint tea?
Double espresso.
Double espresso.
Yeah, I don't drink. Well, mint tea sometimes.
I
yeah.
give you a secret. A month ago, I was spent a lot of time in Italy. I discovered ginseng. Ginseng is like, it's a plant, but they do
Yeah.
like a drink. It's like coffee, but with ginseng. Oh my God, end of the world. I became addicted, but there is not in Paris.
You know, with all these plants and trends and matcha and hatcha and everything, I just like my classic double espresso. I'm gonna stick to it. You can enjoy your ginseng, or I'm sticking to double espresso.
I'm trying to convince all
like
my
matcha?
friends. No.
Why are there 100 podcasts a day about matcha?
Yeah, stories.
I'm
Oh,
glad.
I'm drinking my matcha and doing my Pilates.
No, some
but yeah.
people love it. I'm
Of
sure.
course,
Yeah.
I don't. But ginseng is every coffee shop in Italy, almost they have. In Paris, not one I found. But I'm gonna try
You're
and
gonna
convince.
find
I'm
good.
gonna try and convince some business.
Do
owners.
that.
Anyway, I have my capsules. I brought them from Italy. Anyway, so mountains or beach for inspiration?
Mountain, probably. Yeah.
Oh, right?
Or beach. I don't know.
Okay.
It depends on the mood. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to the beach in a few days on a holiday, so
Okay.
it's beach mood right now. But yeah.
Yeah. Right.
But for inspiration, I think mountain, because the beach you're gonna be out on.
You get distracted.
Yeah, you're gonna get easy distraction. Mountain, you're just gonna hike for a bit and come back for wine and writing. So yeah, mountain.
I agree. Sunset or sunrise?
Usually sunset, because sunset. I like sunset. Unless I'm still awake, sunrise is cool. But I don't like waking up early. So
Sunset.
yeah, sunset.
I love sunsets. For me, it's like I can cry.
Oh wow.
I did a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't cry. I'm
it was
usually
a-
drinking and happy.
No, but like
on
it's so
sunset.
emotional. I don't know. I'm just an emotional
I
person.
see.
But yeah, I was in Sicily a few weeks ago. It was like, this is so beautiful.
The sun is setting now. Please don't start crying.
It's raining in Paris. Anyway, okay. So unlimited books or unlimited flights?
Unlimited flights.
Right. So
For
we can
sure.
write books
Yeah.
on plane. Okay. Inbox zero or you pile up emails?
I pile up emails and messages. Yeah. Again, it depends on the mood and the productivity level. But
You're
yeah.
such a busy guy.
Yeah, but I see that red number, it just increases.
And it gives you
Yeah.
anxiety?
No, not at all.
It's fine?
Yeah, it's fine.
You-
It's emails, they can wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get to them when it's time to get to them.
Right. Standing desk hero or working from the couch?
Standing desk. I like moving a lot when working. So yeah, I think standing
keep,
desk. Couches for
motivated.
movies and for cuddling and for things like that. Not
So you have a space for work and then a
yeah,
space
I
to
have a
rest.
big green couch. So yeah, you can do it.
Nice. All right. Well, I think that this ends our episode. Maybe we can end with one last advice or message that you have for our listeners.
Advice, I don't want to give advice to anyone, because I think everyone is wise and smart enough to make their own decisions. Message, as we were talking earlier, I really hope our world calms down. It's a lot of tension, and I hope every community find its peace, find its moments of comfort and moments of prosperity, etc. I think we need like a world group prayer for the world to calm down.
An inner peace, right? It starts within.
Yeah, inner peace, good,
individually and
good
community.
policies, good humans, dialogue, communities talking with each other, not only fighting one another. People with different views and opinions also finding a way to come together. So yeah, I think that's the only message right now.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good luck on your show. And thanks for having me.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for being with us. And thank you for the work that you do.
I have one question. I'm not a CEO though.
What are you? Well, a founder. But you know what?
Yeah, I'm.
It's fine. But that's the thing. Like the idea, I'm also interviewing CMO, CXO.
Great. We're all CEOs. Sorry,
You're-
Omar.
You're CEO of your life.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. I'm gonna cut this. Cut it. No, I'm kidding.